Kaimere is a distant planet. It is defined by waves of life brought from Earth and set free to evolve independently in this new context. The indigenous life of the planet, swarms of microbes called magic by the people who live there, are what harvest Earth organisms and make copies on Kaimere. As the asteroid which concluded the Mesozoic never struck Kaimere, dinosaurs remain the dominant terrestrial megafauna. Many peoples of Earth and Kaimere independently settled down and developed agriculture when the context suited a steady lifestyle. At least 3 times in our own history, once the climate stabilized after the ice ages, and perhaps twice as many events occurred throughout the history of Kaimere. In each agricultural revolution, when there were different cultures and crops involved, it all added up to a very similar process and end result. In each situation, there were settlements. There were always plants and a few animals domesticated alongside them. And in each situation, a few local animals indulged themselves in daring heists to partake in the bounty within the pantries and storehouses. These are the vermin, or little rogues as their common name is translated, we will meet in today's episode. The first children were the first civilization to domesticate local flora and fauna in the history of Kaimere, at least 16,000 years ago, though perhaps even earlier. They also domesticated magic. It seems to have been quite accidental, likely stemming from a wild strain of magic brought in with one of the local plants that provided its host with whatever fixed nutrients it lacked in exchange for bulk calories. Once the first children domesticated the plant, developing it into a wide range of morphs and functions, the magic quickly adapted too. Understanding of what they had stumbled upon may not have been rapid, and since their home of origin is lost to time we may never know, but it appears, once it was understood, they quickly went about harnessing whatever wild magic they could find and seeing which could be domesticated. While they may have had many vermin sneaking about their stores, one species was especially notable in being carried into the known world: the pouch or grizzleback rat. This little multituberculate is not unlike its placental namesake. They are small omnivores that breed quickly and can nest just about anywhere. Their strong blade-shaped molars can cut rather than crush, great for processing a wide range of food, and venomous spurs on their heels aid in both predator deterrence, combating rivals, and killing the occasional prey item. They are proficient diggers, but expert climbers. This generalist lifestyle makes them well adapted to sneak into settlements, feast, and slink back into the night undetected. As the first children came to Picardia, then the mainland of Qajar, they brought their pouch rats with them. Everywhere the pouch rat went, local rodents and multituberculates suffered from the intense competition. It is unusual for an island animal to dominate mainland niches, but the enhancements from all the enchanted grains they ate appear to have given them peak health and breeding potential, which seems to have given them an edge. Although the first children are long gone and most of their crops have gone feral, pouch rats are still found throughout the known world. Rats themselves are also present in Kaimere. The first of the genus Rattus was harvested from Southeast Asia 1.5 million years ago. This was just after the ancestor of brown and arboreal rats like the black and Pacific rats diverged, which went in a similar direction as their Earth counterparts. There are many species of tree rat throughout Kaimere, with the most common being the small Nikari tree rat, and the larger Arvelith black rat. Chimeran brown or common rats are brawny burrowers, highly prolific and very adaptable. Although tree rats tend to do better in thatch roof and wood settlements, more common in the known world, the superior digging of brown rats has put them in good position at getting to pantries, especially in tile and stone structures more common in the crescent. They cohabitate with the Nikari tree rat, sometimes even living in burrows underneath the same tree as their arboreal cousins live in. The larger and more aggressive black rat of Arvel has outcompeted their burrowing counterparts, and tend to be the only rat species wherever they go. When the pouch rat came to the known world, they directly competed with local tree rats. The black rat's greater size is countered by the multituberculate's venomous spurs, and direct confrontations between the two can be extremely violent, often fatal for both animals. As ships carried both throughout the known world, they generally outcompeted other rats, and between the two, their dominance varies by region, with some cities seeing temporary extinctions before reinforcements arrive. Nikari tree rats are now quite rare in settled areas. As Arvelith black and brown rats clash, brown rats have carried on, generally doing even better than before, as their Arvelith cousins fight off the venomous invaders in the roofs above, their conflict only leaving more food for the brown rat below. In light of this, with the roofs and treetops being an on-site war zone, common rats have really come into their own. These rats are not the only rodent and multituberculate vermin in the known world. Mice were first harvested alongside the rats. Although there are many wild mouse species, the Kaleen house mouse is most common and, thanks to seafaring trade networks of the Free States and Kaleen, house mice are now the most common of their genus in settled areas throughout the known world. They are sometimes preyed upon by common rats, but generally the two both thrive while their more aggressive tree and pouch rats are fighting. Although several dozen arboreal and burrowing squirrels can be found throughout the known world, they are generally not considered vermin, as they tend to stay in the wilderness. Some occasionally raid fields, gardens, and stores, but they are generally not on a scale to be considered vermin, although Nereton farmers in southern Qajar have a pretty notable woodchuck problem. There are also small and successful multituberculate critters throughout the known world. Many have gone extinct due to rodent competition, although this is less a matter of direct competition and more that harvests occur in areas where stress is on the local fauna. So rats and mice coming to previously stressed ecosystem and dominating is really just a matter of favorable context. Not that the previous rodents and multis were inferior organisms. Beyond the known world, multituberculates continue to dominate these niches, but within the territory of the portal, rats and mice are generally more successful. Lagomorphs, or rabbits and hares, are found widespread success in Kaimere within the past few harvests. Common rabbits in particular have taken well to the varmint life, being found near most settlements. They tend to be a bigger problem for growing crops than raiding stores like rats and mice, but they will sometimes dig their way into the cellar. A specialist at getting into cellars that we on Earth fortunately don't need to contend with is the hog sloth. Giant mylodonts like the hukelgor and common sloths of the genus Vulgarochnus might dig impressive burrows to sleep in for safety, but the hog sloth has taken digging to an extreme. While aardvarks might dig faster in loose soil, the much stronger hog sloth can excavate at a steady and reliable pace for hours. All Kiameran mylodonts have an astonishingly potent sense of smell, but the hog sloth takes this to an extreme, having one of the best noses of any Xenarthran. They use this combination of features to burrow into storehouses, gorge themselves, and retreat before being discovered. An entire breed of dog, the slothhound, was bred to detect, follow, and harass these steady and shaggy tunnelers. Although rarely more than 200 pounds, a cornered sloth can be quite lethal thanks to tusks and long claws, and their dermal armor is among the most robust of the clade despite being covered in long fur, so the hound is not trained to engage. Unlike their more common cousins, hog sloths are looking for a quiet, easy meal rather than a fight, so a few barks is typically enough to see them off. Many species of monkey are infuriatingly talented thieves of crop. Thumbs, cooperation, and sophisticated sociality makes them capable of getting into most stores. Common or ship monkeys are especially notorious. They might themselves catch and kill other vermin like rats. In fact, they are often doing so to earn passage on a merchant ship to prove their worth. But a popular story told by sailors is of a monkey presenting the captain with a dead rat he stole from a dock cat and occupying the crew's attention while the rest of the monkey troop robs the ship before they set sail. Numerous birds are also considered vermin by Kiameran farmers. Corvids are a particular nuisance as they can decimate a crop field. Thankfully, by their nature, enchanted grains pack with calories and quite filling, so a flock won't do much damage on their own, but calling in allies for a feast can quickly become a problem. Due to them being messengers, domesticated common pigeons are internationally illegal to kill as a clause in the Tishoko Accords, and farmers are often left feeling helpless as feral pigeons, their wild rock dove counterparts, and any of the several dozen wild dove species have free run of their fields. Passenger pigeons, the subject of next week's episode, can be a particular problem due to the sheer numbers within their flock size. Many nations have authorized the culling of non-domesticated pigeons by bow, trap, and falconry, but especially in cases of passenger pigeons, this only seems to open up space for more members of the flock to feed and breed. In Picardia, the Oviraptorosaur uruk is a juxtaposition of a beast. As adults, they are loyal, formidable, and durable mounts and protectors of clan and livestock. If it is established as flock, the uruk will defend. Wild members of this species in the lowlands are generally too aggressive to tame, but in the highlands, a lineage was domesticated and spread into the lowlands with the return of the Firebird clan. Horses are generally easier to tame and train, and not bonding to a particular rider, being generally reluctant to allow other strangers to ride, makes horses much more practical as mounts between settled areas. Although the minimal grassy pastures in Picardia does make uruk more appropriate for some journeys, as they can subsist on a wide range of local flora and fauna. As adults, uruk are calm and reliable mounts. Unfortunately, they must survive their childhood. In this stage, young uruk are notorious problems. They harass other livestock, steal anything shiny, tear open and feast on crop, and see any closed door as a challenge. Chicks, or memos as they are called by Highlanders, have such a penchant for mischief that many see their entire childhood as 2-year-long exercise in daring parents and handlers to put them down. Once they become adolescents, they begin to settle down as long as they are kept in line by the flock, and adults are much more calm. It is accepted Picardian wisdom that the most difficult memos grow up into the most amicable and reliable adults. It is not lost on many outsiders to note a similarity in the peoples of this island. Adults are famously measured and stoic, yet formidable warriors and hunters, yet their children all seem possessed by any of the dozen or so trickster spirits in their chaos, destruction, and glee. Though cruelty is not tolerated, they are forgiven most transgressions and encouraged to play loud, wild, and free. Cats, foxes, and jackals are all debatably considered vermin, mostly for their theft and consumption of domesticated fowl. Chickens are, by a considerable margin, the most populated domesticated fauna throughout the known world, so animals that kill and capture them are obviously reviled. Even so, they are generally not included in the little rogues, mostly because the term generally applies to thieves, not killers. The same could exclude panthers, cockatrices, and other predators that hunt livestock. Still might be called vermin under the definition of taking stock, but again, not covered by the general definition as understood by Kiameran farmers. A rabbit, pigeon, or mouse might inspire frustration, but a cockatrice lurking by your farm is a threat to all within, man and beast. Animals like raccoons, badgers, skunks, and opossums might opportunistically venture into a settlement, but not on a level of pest to be hated on a large scale. Many invertebrates might also be included in their destruction of crop, but these pests aren't regarded as rogues so much as a destructive force of nature. Although vermin are generally disliked and looked down upon by Kiameran peoples, their designation as little rogues is a testament to a begrudging respect many have for these little critters. As long as the theft is not too significant, most farmers accept the loss as a reality of life, especially in a world with so many far greater threats. Many people indeed admire these little adaptable and persistent varmints, toughing it out and taking what they can in an unforgiving world. Cheers to Steve Duck for sponsoring this episode. I was so stoked when I got the message. It was a great excuse to dive into some microfauna, a subject that I haven't given its due. My friends and I are also working on a project related to rodents, so it was a lot of fun and fortuitous that my studies applied to both. Thanks to those of you who have joined my membership program to support the project, to my Patreon patrons for your support as well, to Steve Duck for this delightful sponsorship, and thanks to you for watching. Have a fantastic day, everyone. Cheers, folks!